In the heart of the ancient world, where pharaohs ruled with an iron fist and the Nile flowed like the lifeline of civilization, a story emerged. A story that has captivated the minds and souls of billions across millennia. This is the story of Moses, a man revered as a prophet, lawgiver, and leader in the Abrahamic religions. But beyond the sacred texts, beyond the miracles and the plagues, lies a question that has puzzled historians and scholars for centuries. Did Moses, the liberator of the Hebrews, the voice in the wilderness, truly exist? Moses is a highly revered figure and one of the most important prophets in Judaism. He is respected by adherents of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam alike, with mentions in each of their holy texts. The story of the great exodus of Israelites from Egypt is incomplete without the presence of Moses, who is the figure holding much importance in this journey. Various literary sources and biblical interpolations over the time remain the resource for Moses' story. However, the few mentions found in non-religious sources led to debates about whether this important figure actually existed. This video aims to explore references to Moses outside of religious text. According to the Torah, Moses was born in a time when his people, the Israelites, were increasing in number, and the Egyptian pharaoh was worried that they might help Egypt's enemies. Moses' mom placed him inside a box and left him to the Nile. This decision was made to save Moses from the oppressive grip of the Egyptian pharaoh, who had ordered the killing of all male Hebrew infants. The basket's journey down the river would set in motion a series of events that would ultimately shape the destiny of a nation. Religious texts highlight the pivotal role Moses plays in history, notably with his association with Mount Sinai. Around 1250 BC, he led a group to this mountain, where he received the Ten Commandments, a momentous event that has rendered the site sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike. Furthermore, Moses' significance extends to the observance of Jewish Passover, a direct reflection of his impact on history. Moses' stature is unparalleled. He is regarded as one of the preeminent leaders globally. Within Jewish tradition in particular, he is celebrated as God's prophet and is esteemed as the greatest prophet of all. Although the Bible is the strongest documentation that Moses existed, due to the inconsistencies and lack of related written materials that could collaborate the biblical accounts, some have questioned the existence of Moses. There are no sources other than the Bible which mention Moses, and the Bible's descriptions of him as a figure are seen to be contradictory. For instance, his long lifespan, living 120 years, may have simply been impractical. In this regard, there are several sources that tell about parts of his life, but those sources are seen to be insufficient in terms of giving a coherent, detailed, general coverage of his life. Moreover, the lack of any sort of mourning on a wide scale is one indication that he might not have existed. He was a significant figure for his people, the leader and speaker of almost 1 million people at that time. In spite of this, the Bible is completely silent about how he died, when he died, and where is he buried. This is in line with the theory that suggests that Moses was never a real person, and he was nothing but a mythical figure created for the Jewish nation. outside the biblical or Quranic narratives, there is a seemingly complete absence of any written evidence from between the late 2nd millennium BC and the Hellenistic period. There are no early sources which describe Moses, yet there are communities that claim their obscure texts are the true story of Moses. This would suggest that the majority of Jewish oral traditions were not committed to writing until the 2nd century AD at the earliest, although there may have been a historical nucleus around which these later stories or myths crystallized. There are no direct references to Moses in Egyptian history, and it is highly unusual for a pharaoh to record or acknowledge any form of social or political turmoil. However, the Ipuwer Papyrus, also known as the Admonitions of an Egyptian Sage, offers a compelling glimpse into conditions that might parallel those described during the time of the Exodus. Both texts recount a series of catastrophic events. The Ipuwer Papyrus details widespread devastation, rivers turning into blood, and agricultural calamities, mirroring the plagues described in Exodus, such as water turning to blood, the death of livestock, and the ruin of crops. Both documents also highlight severe economic hardship. The Ipuwer Papyrus describes the scarcity of precious metals and the inversion of social roles, with the wealthy becoming impoverished. Meanwhile, Exodus discusses the economic devastation wrought by the plagues on Egypt, severely affecting its economy. But it is crucial to recognize that scholars are divided regarding the direct correlation between the two documents. These parallels are drawn from a document often dated to a period 300 years prior to the traditionally attributed era of Moses, who is believed to have lived in the 14th–13th century BC. Archaeological evidence continues to be highly sought after by historians, theologians, and believers searching for proof of Moses' existence. However, despite the millions spent upon research and discovery, there has been little to no evidence supporting the notion of Moses existing, let alone played a significant role in the leadership of the Israelites out of Egypt and the subsequent formation of a new covenant with God. As with historical accounts, there is no mention of Moses in Egyptian records, despite his role as a prince, priest, and military leader. Consequently, scholars continue to examine. The Bible states that 600,000 adult males, along with women and children, were part of the Exodus from Egypt, implying an overall total of 2 to 3 million people. Such a significant number suggests that traces of their migration from Egypt to the Promised Land and their considerable impact on historical events should exist. However, to date, no concrete evidence of this journey has been discovered. The possibility, even the idea of Moses' existence has been under fire with doubt and skepticism, leaping from the pages and lectures of researchers, professors, archaeologists, scientists, and authors alike. Even if one chooses to believe in the existence of Moses and the story of Exodus, there are countless theories and hypotheses for the same, which are proposed simply because there is no proof in the favor of a particular theory. A significant lack of credible proof for the existence of Moses creates a considerable amount of room for theories which are not only bizarre, but also may attempt to question the historical aspect of important events, such as the incident at the parting of the Red Sea or the given events of Moses' life. It has been claimed that a fabricated Egyptian tale concerning a man named Osaseph, who once was a leper and led a leper colony, has been retold to fit the biblical story, and that this may have been Moses. Also, Osasef in Greek is Osasif. There are two different accounts on Osasif. The account exemplifies the character as a Heliopolitan high priest. There also are reports of his undignified conduct and vicious character. The legendary account imagines Osasif as a renegade priest who leads the people in revolt against the king. Furthermore, the rebellion involves the movement of the military toward the delta because of its violent habits. Historically, various ideas concerning Moses' existence have been debated. Some regard Moses as one of the pharaohs of that name. They attribute to him acts of wisdom and claim that he was the founder of the religion that relates to his name, and has formed these ideas from certain conclusions drawn from the appearance of his laws. Some say that the founder of the Jewish laws was a Jew who lived in very ancient times and was of the same name as the Egyptian. They assert that the circumstance of the name not being the same as that of the God of the Jews is simple because the one is called Mouses and the other Muses. The analysis of the existence of the biblical figure Moses is complex due to the lack of archaeological and documentary evidence. All four propositions lead to the conclusion that the biased evidence of the biblical stories cannot be considered accurate, and in fact, the textual evidence used is not modern and comes from an age where objective truth was a rarity, and oral transmission means that texts were easily altered or forgotten. If there was ever an individual similar to the way he is portrayed, it would have been impossible to pick out his story from that of all the other charismatic leaders of that time, and, historically, he would have been a normal man, rallying together and leading people in their flight. Determining the certainty of his existence is challenging, and ultimately, it depends on individual belief. And we've reached the end. This video marks the second episode of our series exploring the historical existence of religious figures, following our first deep dive into the life of Jesus. Stay tuned for our upcoming video, where we'll delve into the historical debates surrounding the existence of Prophet Muhammad of Islam. If you found this episode insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Your support is invaluable. Have any thoughts or questions? We're eager to hear from you, so please leave a comment below. For more information and to stay up to date with our series, check the description and follow us on our social media platforms. Thank you for joining us. Until our next journey, continue to explore, question, and impact the world.